Listen in Colour. Hi everyone, welcome to Listen in Colour with me, Rachel Walker-Mason. We are back to some more Wren, new, exciting Wren. Please check out parts 1 and 2 that I have already filmed and reacted to. Link is up here. Let's have a look at this. Oh, those of you who hate me pausing in a guitar solo are going to be cross. I'm pausing in a guitar solo, but it's a really long guitar solo, so I needed to say something. Wow, I love how he's opening this one sonically, again, different to the previous 2 parts. But it feels the connection of the like there's like a theme music that kind of runs through them, but he's using different instruments to play it differently. And this going into this electric guitar section, it's like he's weeping. It's like that really like pained electric guitar, like someone's screaming. And I don't know whether that's representative of the pain this character's in, or the kind of torment, like the things that he's been through that have led him to being in this cell now, that he knows he's made those choices, but it's still a difficult place to be. And he's said before about the character that he's full of rage and full of hate towards the world, and it's like it's this person screaming. And I love that on the wall just behind there's the self-portrait of Vincent van Gogh that we all know, and the sunflowers picture. So there definitely is a Vincent van Gogh reference, but not anything else that I can see. So we'll see how that plays out.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contorn insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me, cream.
Wow. Oh God, what a sad story. So it starts off sort of saying we know Vincent's angry. We know he's got to this point in his life where, yeah, he's made some fairly disastrous choices. But the thing that I always say, that we're all victims of victims. There's a reason why people are how they are. And it's often that the people who raised us were trying to do the best they could with the skills they had, and they may have had a horrible upbringing as well, or something may have happened to them. There's generational trauma that is very hard to deal with, and a lot of generations are just not cut out to deal with that. We're not taught. Like, it's only really more recently that it's become more acceptable to talk about mental health struggles. Only recently that people are more openly talking about that without there being such a level of mocking about it. And I've struggled with my mental health. I've struggled with different choices I've made, or things that have happened to me, and things that I have brought upon myself to some extent. And I feel more empowered now to be able to talk about it in case it might help somebody else. But evidently, when Vincent was younger, this character was younger, his mum was a drug addict. So she was shooting up while he was in the womb. So he would have been a baby that's born addicted. And there are a lot of kids that are born like that. And then the kids are on the babies having withdrawal. It's horrendous. And I know nurses who have worked in areas where they've seen that, and it is just awful. These poor innocent little babies that are born already with a drug problem. And then it's very hard to kind of set yourself right in life when you've already had such a terrible start. And he's this very kind of average kid. I don't know whether it affects your intelligence and your ability to learn. And he probably didn't have a great home life. If his mum was a drug addict, you probably don't have a particularly settled upbringing with parents around you who support you and help you with your homework and take you to school on time. It's not an easy life. And so he grows up, as Ren says, this very average child, average grades. It's very easy for the world to overlook you because you're just sort of nothing. You're just there, and then they just think, oh, well, you'll either be employed or unemployed rather, or you'll get some rubbish job that nobody else wants to do. And so it's hard not to be angry by the choices, the choices of others that have given you that life. It's hard not to, I imagine, feel resentful because, yeah, the world has not been kind to him. And I can understand how it's turned out so badly for this man. It's sad.
To the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny bin. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the waves. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too deep.
Oh. What an incredible lyricist. Absolutely some of the best lyrics I've ever heard. And I do a lot of lyric judging. That's one of the things that I do. Is I'm known as a lyricist. I often get brought in on projects to help with the lyric writing for some quite big artists. I write top lines mainly, but lyrics is very much my favorite thing. My friends call me a word nerd because I love lyrics. And my goodness, just little things he says just off the cuff. They're not the central line. They are just a little throwaway line somewhere, but they are so powerful. And he does a section slightly earlier on where he goes into kind of like a hip hop, a kind of kind of rhythm, which is just amazing that he's able to do that so easily over a guitar part that's quite jazzy and quite smooth, and it's got this kind of soul feel to it, that he has that ability to flip into that and then go back into more of a singer-songwriter, like a smooth jazz kind of quality. He just flips between styles, but makes them all feel like they belong together. It's amazing. I don't often hear that. People tend to separate the two and say, "Oh, that's hip hop and that's jazz and that's soul and things." But no, he puts them all together and they work. and they all kind of represent different parts of this personality and different parts of the story he's telling of Britain and the thing, that we used to be this country that ruled the waves, and now it's not turned out great. There's a lot of I mean, I assume it's the same in lots of countries where you tend to, with the very rich get richer, the middle classes are kind of squashed in the middle, having to work really hard, and then people at the bottom just don't stand a chance of getting out of that because the system is kind of rigged against them, and these are the people that Ren sings about, and nobody really talks about those people. You see them sometimes on TV shows, and it makes people a bit uncomfortable. We're like, oh, looking at people who come from different places than us. But Ren talks about them in a really sensitive way that makes you really feel for these people as if you know them. And it's incredible. It really is. Just brilliant storytelling. It's so visual. He's so clever.
Cool. And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row. So he drinks so we don't have to think. Mercy tastes bittersweet when the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth. And the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in...
Oh my gosh, what a line. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. Wow. I wish I was that good a writer. Again, just a throwaway line. It's not like the central chorus hook, just a line, and it's amazing. Just one thing. Now, I'm trying to remember the very famous Vincent van Gogh painting of his room. And when the camera pans back and you can see more of the room, I think this room is meant to look like that room. And I think I can see that from the bed frame looks similar. I've been to one of those immersive art shows before where they create all of the different paintings and you kind of get inside them. So I've literally stood in Vincent's room that's kind of projected around me, and I think it's meant to look like this. It's still not very clear why we're talking about Van Gogh, but it feels like this is the room from his painting, like the room that he grew up in. Maybe it's saying that we could all be as great as someone as talented as Van Gogh. Maybe we're all capable of things like that, but sometimes our situation stops us from achieving those things. Yeah, my husband's showing me the picture. It's literally that. It's literally it. It's the bed frame. There's a chair and a table, and then there's a robe hanging on the wall, and then there's two paintings there. It's literally, yes, my husband's showing me. And it is. Ren is flipping genius. Like, how does he come up with these things? Like, to have this layer within the song that's already very layered. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, does it become clear at the end why we're talking about a chap called Vincent who seemingly isn't Van Gogh, but there's so many Van Gogh references? Oh, I want to know. He never does anything without intention, so there must be a reason.
And the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose by decision and taboos. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to. One too many.
Good Lord. He's a brilliant writer. That was so the who's the booze little bit there was just perfection. But people I know who've struggled with alcoholism often say that it's like a prison and you can't break free from the cycle. You have to keep drinking because everything in your life is falling apart around you and because of your drinking, but the only thing that keeps you going is drinking. So it's really sad that that he's in prison, the character's in prison before he goes to prison because of his drinking. But he's drinking because his life is so terrible and desperate and upsetting and perhaps lonely and unfulfilled. And it's such a sad cycle to be in. It really is. You don't know how people break out of it, or if they can, or if they know how to go for help, or if there is help. Like what are people supposed to do? It's so kind of desperate. You just really feel for this character and the millions of people that this character represents. It's really sad. Okay.
1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
Loads of painting. Love it. Okay. Here we go. Richard's Tale.
Sirens start singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When time
Talk about his Miranda rights and his, rather than right to remain silent, his right to remain violent. Oh. First couple of lines in and it's epic. I love how musically this takes you somewhere completely different. It feels a little bit more like Sunflowers in that it's got more going on in the track rather than just acoustic guitar. But it's got a lot of kind of heavy beats, kind of edge to it. It's got a kind of more menacing vibe. And I'm assuming that this is the same bit of music that's at the end of Sunflower prologue, which it kind of has a little chunk that tells you where it's going to go and then it stops. So I think it's the same piece of music. So we'll see. So this should end up with Vincent going to prison, I think, here. But we shall see.
the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, food this sock shop, chop chop. Keep that credit top top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that.
Ooh, oh god, those are some fantastic lyrics. Turn the hide into a jackal. Genius. There were some incredible lyrics there that were just so, they've got so much venom in them as well, the way he's singing them, but the particular choice of words kind of spit out in a really nice way that just gives that kind of edge of that kind of heavier, more aggressive rap that's often about drugs and shootings and things. That's often the content of that style of music. And that just works here. Usually it's not as heavy as this. So he has got that kind of hip hop edge, but he normally doesn't have the musical accompaniment that sounds like it as well. So this is quite a departure. It feels very different. And usually this isn't particularly music I would listen to, but of course I will because it's Ren. Of course I will. And I know he will have chosen that particular sound for this section for a reason. So I am here for it. God, it's amazing. Amazing.
Ash, copper car lights flash. Red red and blue kaleidoscope. Some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with God ability. 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. Our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9. Through his Christ timelines intersect Richard's fate was designed.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This is so just so clever. So clever and so tragic that yeah, alcohol is cheap. So it's there for sale and then we go and drink it and then we're told that we should be sober and we're kind of tricked into a lot of these things by the way that things are packaged in society because like junk food and things, it's like it's cheap, so we buy it because it's cheap and we're hungry, but then we're told we're not supposed to eat that. And it's just everything things are really messed up, often by the people in charge. And he talks about them with this godlike kind of ability, but they don't really know what they're doing either. They're just trying to make choices that, generally don't pan out that well. And he talks about this tangled web and how you're trapped in that. And he also mentions about the red and blue lights. And I remember in the Violet's Tale video, he's wearing red in one video and blue in the other. And between the two, that makes the colour violet, which some of you pointed out. So thank you very much to you for that. And in the car here, he's talking about the red and blue. And I think that's the flashing lights, the police lights, which are usually blue, but you've got a bit of red in there sometimes. And so the two colours he's talking about, perhaps that references the Violet story as well. The whole thing about the colour violet is quite pertinent to Richard's story if he is the policeman that shot Screech. So that's quite interesting if that reference is there for that reason. So, okay, let's continue and see.
9 through his Christ timelines intersect Richard's fate was designed. Just set the scene, it's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Thoughts a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself. And there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy, seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no mo, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed, cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the records seem to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
Wow, okay, so I was right, it is Richard who ended up killing Screech. And it finally is revealed here that Jenny and Screech are brother and sister, but they didn't know that because, of course, they would have been put into foster care, I imagine, when their mum died. Oh God, it's just awful. It's like this horrible tragedy that that tends to be the thing when there's horrific trauma. It tends to just roll on through generations, and other people make terrible mistakes because they've got that trauma in them, and then people who are connected to it affects. So Richard, who's the policeman who killed Screech, is now affected by it and has started drinking a lot and not sleeping a lot, and hasn't got very much support from his colleagues, and doesn't really know what to do. So he's got himself into a really bad situation because of his reaction to this 14-year-old boy running towards him with a knife, which must have been terrifying. And he reacted the way that he thought was right, and this has really affected his life. And they've not talked about, the case kind of remains open, and I guess it's very difficult to get closure on a case when you don't know what the answer is. So Richard is really kind of tied himself up in knots with this, and he's saying he's awake stressing about it and drinking while his family are asleep. So he's been really affected by this disastrous story as well. It's now kind of infected his life. It's horrible. It's like this disease that kind of spreads through society and damages everything it comes into contact with. It's just, it's really sad, really, really sad. Is this cycle going to be broken, or is it just going to carry on with more and more people affected by this? I don't know. Can we take any more? Can we? I don't know. Oh, God. Right, let's see what happens to Richard.
Your feet are fake fucked up. Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talked up. The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1. Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile, how to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger down the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are all damn forsaken by creation. Revelations, Richard cannot stand. The 3rd stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a...
Gosh, this is just... like, people should study this. It's just genius, absolute genius. He's going through the stages of grief now, which are really useful in terms of understanding what your body and your brain is doing when you're grieving, whether it's because someone or something has died, or whether you're going through a difficult change in life. That can also be a kind of grief. And just the way Ren is narrating this is absolutely stunning. And you've got Richard there kind of miming to the therapist. And it's really interesting how this entire scene is completely different to the others. So this is a much more middle class scene. The room is nicely lit, and you can see out of the window there are nicer houses. Nothing is graffitied. All the furniture is whole and nice, and it's got a warmer feeling to it. So you know that Richard is from a more kind of middle class background. It just signals this big change because Ren often tells you stories outside in alleyways next to bins and, in kind of rougher areas. So this really shows the difference in Richard's life. He doesn't have the same upbringing as Jenny and Screech and Violet and Vincent, but he's equally as affected and actually having the same things happening to him. Like he's developing this drinking problem like Vincent. And that's often what happens when we have trauma. We try and handle it in a way that probably isn't great, but it's the only tool we have. So, alcohol has long been a solution, obviously not a solution, but something that people have fallen back on because it's easily accessible, and some people can function quite well as an alcoholic and still just about carry on in life. They can kind of mask it, whereas being a drug addict is probably harder to mask. So there's a lot of high-functioning alcoholics in society who are probably really deep down covering up some enormous trauma and things that they don't really want to deal with or don't know how to deal with. And so it's really good that Richard here is actually going to therapy. Working in the music industry is not well paid. So if you would like to support me, you can buy me a coffee or a tea, as we say, because we're British, and the link is on my page. Thank you to everyone who's already supported me through Buy Me a Coffee. It means so much that you do that. Let's get back into stages of grief.
Lesson taught in grief, depression, demonic like possession that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud. Cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That is absolutely like often Ren stuff just feels relentlessly hard going and you're like, oh God, by the end. But this is so beautiful and warm and saying, you know what, I'm actually proud of you that you've come through this, and what could have killed you has actually made you stronger. It's a beautiful line that's sometimes the thing that we think is our curse can be our greatest blessing. And the fact that Richard's putting his uniform on again, he's gone through that really hard therapy, having to deal with all that he probably didn't want to. He wanted to bury it. And Ren was saying about he'd pulled the wound open and he pulled the bad stuff out of it when the wound was set to heal over and keep all that stuff inside. Like he's gone in there and done the work, which is the very best you can hope for people, for them to go and do the work on themselves. And I had some therapy last year and it made a huge difference to me. There's a lot of things that I'd had buried really deep down that I'd never dealt with, and then eventually you've got so many layers over it that it's worse to kind of dig it all out again. So I was like, it's fine, it can just stay under there. But a lot of things have changed in my life in a really positive way because I went and dealt with these things that happened a really long time ago. And it's hard, it's not easy at all. And so I'm always really impressed when people do that. I'm always really proud of them. And this isn't even someone I know, it's someone in a song, but I feel like Ren is saying, like, I'm proud of you that, you made those choices. And look at him there, putting his uniform back on, and he's going to go back out to work.
Scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
That was unbelievable. And just that final line of what could go wrong. And you think, oh God. Oh no, it's just incredible. It's like I've watched an entire mini-series and need to have a bit of a decompression nap now because I'm like, that's so much information to get in such a short time. But it's amazing that I feel like I know these characters. I haven't even seen most of these characters because they're often played by Ren or he's just talking about them. And you never hear any of them speak unless it's Ren doing their voice. But you feel like you know the characters, you know what's been going on with them, you know them, and that is so clever to just do that in a handful of songs. Absolutely amazing. So the little flash through at the end after Ren says, what could go wrong? And you think, oh God, what's going to happen? Is it that Richard made a different choice, that he handcuffs Vincent rather than shooting him? Is that what it's meant to signify, that he's broken the cycle because he went and did the therapy, and so now he's not so quick to use his gun like he was with Screech? Is that the end of the story that kind of shows that Richard's now going to make different choices? Is that a Ren happy ending? Is it? Please let me know if you know the answer, because I'm really intrigued. Love that Ren just does exactly what he wants. And if he wants a song to be 10 minutes, then it's going to be 10 minutes. If he wants a song to be 2 minutes, it'll be 2 minutes. And I love that he just completely sticks to his own beliefs. Like he knows this song, in order to tell the whole story, needs to be this length. That is not how music works nowadays, in terms of if you want to get radio play, songs have to be 3.5 minutes. you couldn't tell that story in 3.5 minutes. You'd have to miss so much out that it just wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't give you enough information, which is often why pop songs can feel a bit throwaway, because the confines of the music industry tell you have to get to the chorus by 30 seconds. You have to have like 3 different tunes that are hooky, and it has to be so catchy that people can repeat it after the first time they've heard it. But that tends to make songs a little bit boring after a while. You get a bit kind of fed up hearing them and you're like, oh, I've heard this one enough. These big epic songs, you don't really get tired of because you gain something more from it every time. And they're so interesting. I can see why he doesn't get radio play. Perhaps he doesn't even chase it. Perhaps that's not where he wants to go. And I don't blame him, because his music is, and his style is just not set up to be accepted by the standard kind of music industry. But what he does is so good and so authentic. I'm really glad that he is doing things on his own terms, because it's incredible. And clearly you all agree, because you love everything he puts out, and the energy and the time and the effort he puts into everything is just incredible. I just think he's one of the best artists I've seen in a very, very long time. Color-wise in this one, it starts off a bit more like the bruise kind of colors that I see often when I'm hearing Ren, that kind of yellowy green, kind of sludgy color. But it kind of gradually changes when it goes into Richard's section. It's kind of more like a cleaner green, more like a foresty green. And then the bit in the therapist's office is more of a like an orange kind of, it's got that kind of warmth in it, where the room is lighter and it feels like there's more hope there. There's that kind of therapy process going on, and Richard's really clearly involved in it. He's really sharing how he feels, and Ren's telling the story, which is a bit more hopeful. And then in that last section, it's got this lovely, like a light blue to it, where Richard's putting his uniform on and Ren's saying "I'm proud of you," and Richard's wife is helping him put his hat on and stuff. And it's lovely. It's like his whole family are proud of him, and Ren's just saying those fantastic things that just make you feel like, oh, there's hope in the world. If there's some hope, things can get better. That feels much more like this lovely light blue, kind of freer, like you can breathe kind of colour. So yeah, it's quite a colour journey, this one. Please remember to like, subscribe, share and comment. I love all your comments, so please keep them coming. And remember to have a colourful day.
Listening